I have been talking about this website, popular information at substack.com. It's a little two-person operation, and most of the writing is done by Judd Legum, Legum. And I've been following some of his investigative work, and I am now a subscriber to his website. I think you should be too. It costs $50. Isn't that a coincidence? But Judd is his name, Legum. Popular information at substack.com. Well, if you remember, a couple of months ago, I think it was in April, Popular Information reported that Toyota was the top corporate contributor to those traitorous dogs, the Christian fascist members of Congress, who voted to overturn the election of Joe Biden. And Popular Information provided the numbers. The company's corporate PAC donated $62,000 to 39 members of Congress who had refused to certify the results of the Electoral College. So all of a sudden, after months of public scrutiny, Toyota announced yesterday afternoon that it would, quote, stop contributing to those members of Congress who contested the certification of certain states in the 2020 election, end quote. Now, among the recipients of Toyota's cash, and boy, does this piss me off. I mean, the whole thing. But one of the recipients was this Andy Biggs, this Christian fascist from Arizona, who tweeted on January 6th, prior to getting money from Toyota this year, he tweeted that he would, quote, lead the charge and fight to overturn the election results. Now, the reversal by Toyota came the same day that the Lincoln Project released an ad that criticized Toyota's contributions to this asshole from Arizona and other Republican or Christian fascist objectors to the outcome of the election. Toyota, if you remember, initially justified its contributions with messaging developed by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, right? Toyota couldn't answer on their own, you sneaky little bastards. They had to get the fascists, the capitalist monsters at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce to write a response for them. And in an April statement that was obtained by Judd Legum, Toyota said it, quote, did not believe it is appropriate to judge members of Congress solely based on their votes on election certification, end quote. Now, that language was taken word for word from a March memo released by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Now, I have to be careful here because I'm trying not to use the F word, but I am really starting to boil. Can you imagine this capitalist sump hole, this capitalist sewer, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, telling Toyota, here's the statement to release. We don't believe it's appropriate to judge members of Congress solely because they voted to destroy democracy in the United States. We don't believe that it's appropriate to judge members of Congress based on their votes to overturn an election. We don't believe that it's appropriate to judge members of Congress solely based on their treasonous action. What the hell? Well, then, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, you capitalist pigs, what would be reason to not support members of Congress? Because they support a woman's right to privacy? I guess that would be a good reason not to support them. This political system that is driving the chaos in this country is just so destructive. It has become so destructive. Toyota, proceeding here with what Judd wrote today, as a matter of fact, Toyota has a $250,000 annual lobbying contract with a guy named Kyle Simmons, a mega lobbyist. Now, who's Kyle Simmons? Well, he's a former chief of staff of the Turtle, Mitch McConnell. And McConnell, of course, would fillet anybody in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce just to get their approval. So McConnell and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and this pig son of a bitch, Kyle Simmons, and these rotten destroyers of democracy, Toyota, what a family of cockroaches we have right here, discovered by Judd Legum. Now, Toyota's decision to back off, I hope it continues. They have to file their reports on who they contributed to on a quarterly basis, I think, maybe monthly. So we'll find out if they maintain their all of a sudden newly found promise. But the decision by Toyota demonstrates the continued political resonance of January 6th. And this will likely disappoint a bunch of powerful corporate lobbyists like this asshole who used to work for Mitch McConnell, who were pushing to quickly resume business as usual. Oh, so the boys, so the traitorous dogs, so the scum suckers, so the people that died that day, so all of that shit really doesn't matter. Let's get back to the business of business. This is America. We are Christian fascists. Okay, call us Christian capitalists, although there's no difference. Son of a bitch. And then Judd adds this: internal communications obtained by Popular Information revealed that the National Association of Business PACs, that's the trade association for corporate political action committees, was encouraging companies to, quote, move beyond, end quote, the attempt on January 6th to destroy the country and resume their political contributions. And in a video seminar that was conducted on March the 2nd, a Christian fascist operative named Michael Duhame advised representatives from corporate PACs that resuming contributions to Republican objectors, that would be those scum, the Christian fascists, who objected to the legitimate, fair outcome of the election, but resuming contributions, quote, most likely would be a one-day story, and most likely you are not going to lose customer share over it, end quote. The cynicism there, the filthy capitalist Christian fascist cynicism there. Hey, most likely, if you start supporting with your money these Christian fascist members of Congress, who's going to care? It's a one-day story, no big deal, and you're not going to lose customer share over it. Well, it appears that Toyota, as Judd points out, Toyota had a different experience. Amen. So I want to share with you a little bit here. This is how the Washington Post reported it. Amy Wang wrote this, and it says, in part, Toyota announced Thursday that its Political Action Committee would no longer make donations to Republican members of Congress who objected to certifying the presidential election results in January after uproar over news that automaker's corporate PAC had supported those lawmakers at a higher level than other PACs. So this is a part that I guess that Judd left out, that Toyota was contributing more money to these treasonous filth than other corporate political action committees were. Oh my goodness. So here's the statement, or in part, maybe this is a full statement from Toyota. Quote, Toyota is committed to supporting and promoting actions that further our democracy. We understand that the Political Action Committee decision to support select members of Congress who contested the results troubled some stakeholders. We are actively listening to our stakeholders, and at this time, we have decided to stop contributing to those members of Congress who contested the certification of certain states in the 2020 election, end quote, Toyota. What a bunch of goddamn weasel words, huh? I swear to God. Calm down. But when they say, we understand there were that our contribution to the treasonous scum in the U.S. Congress troubled some stakeholders. I hate that term, stakeholders. You mean investors or buyers? But it troubled some? Well, while the statement from Toyota is probably factually correct, because we live in the United States of America, where as much as 2/3 or 3/4 of the Christian fascist party now is all in favor of overthrowing democracy and replacing it with a form of Christian authoritarianism. So maybe Toyota's statement that it troubled some stakeholders is factually correct. It still pisses me off. And then to say, we are actively listening to our stakeholders, and at this time, we've decided to stop the contributions. At this time. Talk about a conditional sentence or a qualifying phrase. At this time, we'll reconsider it. When you assholes out in the American bozo land forget about us, then we'll start supporting these traitorous dogs again. But just like our friends at the chamber said, it's a one-day story. Okay, it's a 1-month story. Okay, maybe it's a 3-month story. But we will be dropping money on these son of a bitches yet again. Count on it. That's what the statement really says. Now, Toyota would have been interested, and they are not, when they say they're committed to supporting and promoting actions that further our democracy. Well, you lying son of a bitches, if you meant that, you wouldn't be contributing money to anybody, much less these Nazi assholes who now dominate your giving. You wouldn't be contributing. I don't care, Democrat or Republican. Why are you contributing money anyway? What are you looking for? Go sell your effing cars. Go make safe cars. Go make electric cars. What the hell are you doing trying to buy politicians who are easily buyable? It's like buying goddamn paper clips. They're cheap. They'll do what you tell them to do. I get very pissed off. So what Toyota should say, that's right, Toyota should say, after reconsidering the monetary contributions we have made to various political candidates and office holders, we have decided to really further democracy by taking our money out of the system. We will no longer contribute to anybody because we understand that money in politics equals corruption. So, to every elected official in the United States or those considering running for office, don't come pounding on our door with your lobbyists looking for money. The faucet has been turned off. I mean, really, that's the way it should be, shouldn't it? Come on, Truth Seeker. You know that's the way it should be. You also know, as I do, that that is not the way it's going to be. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.